Welcome to the SMO Podcast. My name is Whitney, and today I'll be asking each guest 7 questions in 7 minutes. Here is the first look of our guest that will be speaking live on our stage. Look below to see what you'll say differently. And here is our next episode. Welcome. All right. Welcome, everyone. Today we have our guest speaker, Ivy, and I'm so excited to have this conversation with her. You're going to learn a lot from her in the space that she's in. And I'm very excited because I feel like she brings this different approach to the table, allowing her to still show up soft and feminine and with the ability to serve. So welcome, Ivy.
Thanks,
I'm so
Whitney.
Excited. Yes,
Thanks, Whitney. I'm so
everyone
excited
watching,
to be here.
Absolutely. For everyone watching, who are you and what do you do?
So my name is Ivy Mujuru, and I am a life coach. I help women go from being overwhelmed, fragmented, feeling under-resourced, to feeling more structured and feeling spiritually grounded and being able to show up and lead, with intention, with beauty and confidence. It's all about repositioning them to go from surviving their days to designing their lives. So that's the work that I do with women specifically.
That's amazing. And so for the line that you're in, has there ever been a time where you felt like you wanted to quit or you almost did, but you didn't?
Plenty times. I think in the walk where, you are walking in obedience and really going according to what God's vision for your life is, there will be so many days that are trying. There'll be so many days where it just feels like, you're not making an impact, where it'll feel like, even when you are making an impact, that maybe you're doing it wrong and it really feels like, oh, maybe I should quit. But you just get to that point where you actually realize there's no turning back. Once you've said yes, it's yes or yes. Those are the two options that you now have. So definitely, yes, you have those moments right from the beginning when you say yes to God, even when you're walking that path where you'll feel like I should just give up, but it's not really an option. You're in this.
I
That's
love
it.
that. I love that yes or yes mentality and also saying yes to God because it is obedience. It is tough. It is scary. It is sometimes our own limiting beliefs that get in the way, but essentially that mentality of I've already put my foot in, I'm going full force no matter what, and I'm going to
Yeah.
continue to stay the path because that's who I'm called to. That's what I'm called to. And so even on the tough days, still having that resilience. And
Yeah.
I think that was so important that you shared that. Why do you think most people actually stay stuck in the space that you're in, and how did you navigate that?
So I think a lot of us think that structure is going to limit you. I think a lot of people hear, oh, you must have like daily habits, discipline, and they think, oh my gosh, that means I'm going to be in a box. That means I can't have, I can't be free. I can't live my life. It's almost like when you think about a diet. Every time it's like, oh, diet, no thank you, because then you think you're not going to be able to have chips and cake and all of the good things you like. But really, it's about having balance, and structure brings balance into your life because it forces you to put clarity around what your values are, what are your priorities. It then brings with it that natural discipline to say, oh, you know what, actually that party, that activity goes very much in line with what I'm working towards, I'll go to that. Or actually, yeah, I know I want to do that, but actually, really, it doesn't go along with where I'm going right now. So I'll give that a pass. It really forces your brain to kind of recalibrate and really choose what's going to be good for you. It's like,
Mhm.
again, if I use the diet mentality, it's almost like, yes, I know I want the chocolate cake, but instead of having the chocolate cake, maybe I'll have a chocolate biscuit. I still get the same, it still gives me that chocolate I want, But now I'm learning that I don't have to go overboard. I don't have to binge for 24 hours. Instead, I can just do this and I'll still get the dopamine I want, but I'm still in line with my goals. So I think a lot of the times it's really just having that self-limiting belief, removing it and saying, okay, once I put structure, I'm actually going to be able to live fully the way I want to.
Mm. You said something key there because what I'm hearing is that once we decide on what is actually good for us, we can lean into that and continue to walk the path and allow ourselves to discern and continue to, because it's a journey of
Exactly.
what actually aligns with the life that we're building.
Yes, it's definitely it's a lifestyle that you're building for yourself. It's not a, you know, get like it's not a quick scheme to just sort your life out and then after 3 months that's it. It's literally, okay, how, like, what lifestyle do I want for myself? What am I working towards? And I think when you think of it like that, it frees you up so much even when you slip up, because like you said, it's a journey, it's not linear. So there will be times where you've got all the plans in life, what your values are, but life just happens and you get into a slump. You're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're not praying, you're not taking a walk, you're not eating right. But because it's a journey and you're building a lifestyle, it gives you that momentum to say, okay, yes, I slipped up, but I'm going to get up and let's continue. That's fine. I'm human. I'm going to get up and continue. Whereas when you think of it as, oh, I have to do this for 3 months, when something happens, it just completely derails you. And that's why a lot of people then stop, because it's like, oh, I was doing good for ten weeks. Oh, now my habit tracker's gone off track. But it's not about that. It's way more than that.
Yeah, yeah, you made a good point about just continuing to say the path and then identifying what that really is in the process. I think with that you need to build some sort of foundation, right? Of like that mindset shift. What would you say for you would be maybe the mindset, what would be the what would be the mindset shift for you that changed everything?
Ooh. I think the biggest mindset shift for me actually was what was the source of my goals. So a lot of us, and again, when you start, it's like, yes, I want to, travel 50 countries. I want to do this. But when you ask someone, but why do you want to do that? It's very rare that we really have like a good source of where our goals are coming from. And the one mind shift that I had was to actually say, at the end of the day, I'm here to make impact for God, and I'm here to, show forth His glory. Whether I'm having fun, whether I'm at work, whether I'm a mom, everything I do ultimately is worship to God. And so, literally, all of my goals are around the roles that God has given me. And because of that, even the way I structure my life now, I don't look at it as this is going to be good for me, but it's worship to God. So when I'm now saying, okay, this year I want to, take my son out, for example, on monthly dates. I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, when I go out with him for monthly dates, it's going to be also it's a time for me to sow into his life and to teach him about God. It's a time for us to build a relationship together. And when that relationship with me and my son is good, it's easier for him to then accept God. It's easier for him to see how his relationship is going to be with God when he chooses, to become a Christian as well. So it really changes your mind shift, your mind around how you're putting your goals together and ultimately why you're doing everything that you're doing.
I love that. I love that. That's that, whoa, that's good moment. That was good. And you know what I got from that too, even with like the how you said you're just spending time with your son and you're going there with intention of
how can I truly serve this person, even somebody, that I love and outside of business, but the people that I surround myself with daily outside of, the work that I do. And it reminded me of someone that I actually listened to that said, when you go into conversation with people, and maybe you're going on a date night, maybe you're going to spend time with your son, maybe you're going to a family member's house, or maybe you're just meeting a new friend. What are some topics that you can think of that you want to speak to that person specifically? Can you think of those topics before you even get there? Because it doesn't have to be the entire conversation, but if you go there with topics, the conversation then becomes more meaningful and more
Yeah.
purposeful. And I love that it's being, having the intentionality to spend time and to know that, because time is limited, I'm coming here with that, intention to really speak life into this person. And so I love that you
Yeah.
shared that. I'd say for based on what you're saying here, how do you apply that into your business, and what are some results that you're currently helping your clients achieve?
So it's I think for me the biggest thing with my clients is always to have the end goal in mind, because what I find is a lot of the times, especially for women that are carrying, big visions and they want to do so much, it's easy to want to do everything in one go. And that really quickly leads to burnout. So,
Mm.
what I always try and do is remind them that it's a journey. So, the structure that we're bringing is not to restrict them and to make them feel like I can't do everything I want to do, but to really have that plan to say, okay, you are here. You want to have 4 events. You want to, be a life coach. You want to do this. Okay, let's map that out in a way that one, you are doing everything that God has given you, but at the same time allowing yourself to not drop any of the other roles you have. Because it's very easy to, to be on the go, 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 go. And then you forget that you're a mother, you forget that you're a wife, a friend, a sister. So it's really, for me, it's always a case of how do we simplify it and put structure and milestones for you so that we remove that overwhelm. We remove that feeling of, I have to do everything in one go. And instead, I get you to a point of, okay, I've got a plan now. I've got the resources in place. This is what it looks like financially. This is what I'm going to invest in myself. And at the same time, oh, I've got kids, I've got this. Okay, so if I've got this plan, this actually works together. So it becomes a life strategy and not just a business strategy that we're working on.
Yeah, I love where this is going because building relationships is one of the most essential, keys that we can actually take away in this life. It's just, building relationships with the right people and being intentional with who we spend our time with. So for me, that also stems back to like being seen and being heard when we're with these people. What does being seen and heard mean to you personally?
Being seen and being heard. I think for me, it's when someone takes the time to understand me. So, we can easily come and have a chat now, but like when someone starts to remember, oh, Ivy said she likes purple. And then it's like, oh yeah, you bring that into the conversation. Or, it's the simple things like if I say, oh, my son is 2 years old, and then the next time we talk, it's like, oh yeah, I saw this theme park. I think it's suitable for kids under 2. So it's bringing those little details that we share with each other, but a lot of us never file.
Mm.
And I read in a book where the author was actually saying, when you're having a conversation with someone, especially when you meet them, she's like, open up a contact on your phone. And as you are maybe not in the moment, but like straight after that conversation, go into that contact card and literally write down the little details that they've told you. They've got kids, they like fish, they like this, because that really allows you to see and hear the other person. So for me, it's the same thing. When you remember the little details and you bring them into our conversations and our interactions, that really tells me that you actually see me and you hear me when we're talking.
Yes, and that's a great reminder. I think that even stems back to like remembering people's names, right? I remember there was a time where I just kept saying I'm so bad with names, and I continuously, started to believe that false reality, that lie that I was telling myself, like, oh, I'm just bad with everyone's names. And it wasn't until I was like, no, like I I should be remembering names. I think I read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
And it led me to believe like, oh no, like this is actually a key reminder. Like I should know. And now I got to a point where I started remembering first and last names. I became so
Oh,
good at it.
wow. Yeah.
And it just became natural. So it was only a lie that I was telling myself. So I love that you brought up that reminder. I would say for you, what's been one belief that you had to break free from in order to become successful? And successful meaning, walking in purpose in your work.
I, from a young age, I struggled so much with self-belief, believing that, I was just good enough in my own skin, the way I do things, the way I talk, the way I, come show up. And so in this walk, that is something I really had to break and remind myself constantly that I am enough just the way I am. And the right people will appreciate that, and I really managed to do that only through soaking myself and my identity back to God. Because once I started to realize that, hey, He made me, He literally,
Mhm.
knew everything about me, my quirkiness, my craziness, my weirdness. And
Mhm.
He says, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Like that has really been such a game changer for me. And so even when the enemy now tries to bring that back to be like, are you really enough? It's literally just a case of, okay, picking that verse and like saying it over and over again until it soaks back into my spirit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's a IV framework in itself. I don't know, you might have to call that the Ivy effect because what you said there, if you guys are listening, if you're tuned in, what you said there is that scripture is not just about reading it, but it's about intentionally spending the time to now digest it. We might not understand everything, but we can accept the truth of what is already written. Because at the end of the
Exactly.
day, it's not made, I believe, to understand it all, but it is made to accept the truth and to follow in it regardless. So I feel what you said there, I even tested this out with my mom recently, and I've been sending her scriptures, and I've been, telling her to, and it's been the same scripture though. It's the same scripture every week for like
Yeah.
Monday through Friday because I'm telling her to now memorize it. But now once you
Yes.
memorize it, she texts me, I memorized it. And I said, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now let it sit in your heart. Now allow it to
Yeah.
resonate within you. Because
Yeah.
now that you memorize it, well, is it aligned though with what you believe? Do you believe it? Are you
Exactly.
receiving it in your heart? And that's
Yeah.
basically what you're teaching on. That's the Ivy effect right there.
Amen.
Yes, that no, like that was the teaching in itself. I love that. So because you're doing the work of helping women in the space that you're in and now transitioning into speaking, how do you stand out as a keynote speaker in SMO?
I I stand out because of uh, my personality, and I'll explain that. Because I think everyone will probably be like, "Oh, yes, my personality." But I think for me, I've always been a people person, and so I love, showing that even on screen, and still smiling. Yes, it's professional, but also bringing that love to every talk I do, and just being real. Like for me, and it's something that I used to be so ashamed of, but I'm such an open book. And I'm realizing that that actually makes me so different, because not a lot of people are readily willing to just show the ugly, the good, the bad. When they talk to people, I don't mind. Like, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you all the struggles I've been through. I'll tell you, all the struggles I'm going through now. And I think just being real and authentic with yourself is something different in itself, because we're never the same. Like, my thumbprint and someone else's thumbprint is not going to be this is very different. So for me, it's really more around my authenticity and my personality, on top of what God has given me, the frameworks and all of that good stuff.
I second
But
that.
yeah.
I second that. I can totally see that. And I truly believe that, God sends us the right people too. He aligns us with the right people to serve. And I believe that, that we connected for a reason. And I love that what you shared today, because it was so real and authentic. And there's so much here. There's so much in you that a lot of people don't know yet. And so if you haven't already connected with Ivy, where can we actually go deeper with you? Because there's so much more under the surface. There's so much more in just one conversation with you. And I've come to know that in the small amount of time that I've known you and continue getting to know you. So where can we actually dive deeper?
So, definitely the first one would be our community, either on school or on the Beyond Scene app. Or if you are external to those communities, then definitely Instagram is probably the best place to start. So my Instagram handle is at ivy_muj, M-U-J. Or alternatively, you can find me on LinkedIn, and my name is Ivy Mujuru on LinkedIn.
I love it. I love it. Make sure you connect with Ivy. Honestly, I definitely took away some key takeaways here. So if you haven't already, make sure that you're tuned in. You'll be seeing her live at our event on April 27th. So make sure you get access, book your seat so that you can tune in and maybe be one of our next speakers. So grateful to have you today, Ivy. Thank you for taking the time out and sharing value with us today. I'm looking forward to seeing our event and just to see the evolution of you and what God is continuing to do through your life. So thank you.
Amen. Thanks, Whitney. It was an honor to be here with you.
Absolutely. Thank you.